questions. Good morning. Please take your seat. ಯಾವ ಮೀಡಿಯಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಮೋಡಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್. Please introduce yourself to the board. Please remove the mask.
So good afternoon. My name is Preethi. I belong to Bengaluru. I was born and brought up here. I finished my schooling from Srivani Education Center, Machuhalli, till my 12th standard under CPSC board. And after that I finished my engineering from RNSIT with my subject in electronics and communication engineering. Later on I started my civil services preparation. After starting my preparation, I also worked as a part-time lecturer in a PU college in English, and later I gave an all India entrance exam for administrative assistant at Indian Institute of Science. After getting selected there, I've been working there as administrative assistant.
Okay. So you are from a village Machuhalli?
No, sir. Bengaluru itself. My school was in Machuhalli.
Okay. So your native?
Bengaluru.
Bengaluru, proper Bengaluru. Okay. So how you want to identify Bengaluru?
Bengaluru is a hub, cultural hub as well as innovation hub, and it gives opportunities to many people across the country and the world to create new livelihoods and make a better life.
Okay. So why it is known as Silicon Valley?
Sir, it is known as Silicon Valley because it is similar to the Silicon Valley that exists in USA, where it is an IT hub and most electronics, technical as well as software industries are concentrated in Bengaluru.
Okay. What is the reason behind that? There are many states, correct?
Yes, sir.
So why only Karnataka or Bengaluru is good in IT industry?
So there are many reasons to it. First thing is that during the through administration itself, the government gives impetus to MNCs to set up their bases here, and along with that we have many engineering colleges. Highest number of engineering colleges in any state is in Karnataka. So naturally the outgoing engineers will be more here, and we we have the Bengaluru International Airport, and to export things and to import quality technology, this is a very good place, and we have human resources also in plenty.
What all reasons you have given, I can find in many states. For example, if you are telling you many engineering graduates are available, so airport is available, right? Human resource available. So these are common factors across many states. So don't you think any special reason is there to call the Bengaluru as Silicon Valley or IT hub?
I think with a few companies like Infosys and Accenture, other new companies are also encouraged to come here, and the policies that support setting up new and we have areas like Electronic City, Whitefield and Global Village, where there have been hubs that has popped up in many places.
What is SEZ?
So they are special economic zones where government gives special facilities and also some exemptions in terms of taxes and some subsidies, so that new industries are encouraged, especially in backward areas.
Okay. So can anyone get the SEZ benefit?
Not everyone, with the government approval based on what kind of, suppose it is a tobacco industry in a city center, they would not be getting any subsidy or SEZ status. Suppose there is a backward area, and to diversify now, as you said, it is concentrated in Bengaluru. Now government is also trying to set up industries in Tumkuru and other places. To diversify industries, government gives impetus to them.
So you are from electronics and communication background.
Yes, sir.
So what is superconductor?
Superconductor is a material that has conductivity beyond basic conductors, and resistivity will almost be close to zero.
Okay. So, are there any superconductors available?
Yes, sir. But it requires less than, in normal research which they use, less than zero temperature is required to achieve superconductor.
Any idea what is the temperature, critical temperature?
It's a negative, I'm not sure, sir. I don't recall.
Can you guess it? Around? Okay, no problem. So, what is capacitance?
So capacitance is the ability to store charges, 1 coulomb of charge.
So, you use mobile phone, right?
Yes.
Okay. How your touch works?
So there is a sensor which senses. There is a specific sensor, but I'm not able to recall the sensors.
So, across means, for example, your device is of this much size. Everywhere sensor is there to identify where hand is.
On the screen, sensor is the sensor is there. Sensor is connected to sense any touches. Not if we touch through pen or anything, it will not sense. Only through our fingertips.
That's what. How it is possible? You are telling the other object it will not touch and it will identify this your finger. How? Okay. So, as an electronics engineer, okay, you have taken government subsidy, right, to finish your engineering, and now you are No, you have not taken.
Yes, through CET I have got it. So
Then
yes.
government is subsidizing, right?
Yes, yes.
So I am feeling like you are jumping to administrative field. You are wasting that one seat, right? Engineering seat. Somebody would have become engineer. Okay. So what do you feel about it?
I think the knowledge I've gained through engineering and the experience I've gained there, it would definitely help me in administration as well. And the need of the hour is we bring in new technologies and make administration, say, paperless in many forms. So in that, if there are engineers in administration, it would do good to the country.
For example, you have electronic circuits.
Okay, so
How you use that knowledge in planning Bangalore city?
yes, sir.
Where you can use it?
Sir, now we have many applications developed on phone. Suppose we want to make city more accessible to handicapped people, we can install built-in applications on their phones.
I guess you didn't understand the question. You have studied electronic circuits, right? Circuit theories are there, right? So, how will you apply those things for the city planning?
Sir, creating blueprints and using semiconductor technologies through IoT and machine learning to sense problems and suppose there are you are telling planning cities.
Circuit theory, whether you remember or not?
Exactly. Circuit theory.
Okay, leave it. No, not an issue. So, yes.
So you are working as an administrative assistant, right?
Yes.
In IISc.
Yes, sir.
What is administration?
Sir, administration is the it can be in layman terms it can be told as planning and execution of any department or any institution from the start to end without without having to face problems.
There is something called as management also. Are you aware of it?
Yes, sir.
What's the difference between administration and management?
So usually administration will be at the higher level in the hierarchy. Management consists of day-to-day.
So if you are planning and executing things from start till end, will it come under management or administration?
It will come under management. Administration, if I can say administration, if I mean to say from start to end, like a closed loop. Suppose an officer provides, gives a gazette or notice. After the subordinates have finished it, if it is in a closed loop, then he will further check that this has been completed the stipulated time, that kind. But going to grassroots level, it would be management.
Okay. So are you aware of this Administrative Reforms Commission which has been set up in the Karnataka state government? Who is heading it?
Sir, it is Chief Secretary
Vijay Bhaskar.
Vijay Bhaskar.
Do you know the topics of their consideration? On which all aspects of administration they are looking into?
Yes, sir. They have to, main thing which I am able to recall is they have given the recent draft. They have given methods how to reduce government costs at various steps, and to provide aid to senior citizens and physically.
Aid to senior citizens.
Like not aid, some support or any amount that has to be given by government for many people. It has been pending, and government lands, some lands which have been taken over by government for say metro and other purposes, that some have still not been cleared, or valid prices have not been given to the landholders. Those should be finished at the earliest as well.
In day-to-day newspapers, you will be hearing about citizen-centric administration. What is citizen-centric administration? Are we not giving citizen-centric administration in the current times?
Sir, yes, to a large extent, our constitution and our planning and any new laws we bring in, most of them will be in accordance to what does good for the citizens and the country. But I think to some extent we are lagging behind in execution. So,
Like, can you quote some examples where we are lacking behind?
So, suppose there is in metro construction itself, it has been it is done from so many years. It has been continuing, and on roads they have to lay pipelines for water connections, and they have to cement the roads as well. There needs to be coordination between both departments to lay the roads as well as piping. Sometimes they would lay the roads, but they would not have laid the pipelines underground. Again, they are going to remove it. Again, they are going to lay the pipelines. Then
So that you
there will be a
feel is
wastage
part of administrative reform.
It would be citizen-centric if both of them coordinate and do which. So, and we would avoid excess cost also, and they would not face problems every day commuting to work or home place. And as you asked, what is citizen-centric policy administration? Administration which takes into account what would be good for common man in everyday life, that would be citizen-centric administration. Suppose if you are framing policies for someone.
Can you quote one scheme or one policy of government where we are citizen-centric? Any scheme, any department, if you are aware of.
So recently there was this, the aid given to acid attack victims was increased from 3,000 to 10,000 rupees. With the inflation and increasing prices, I think this is one thing they have taken into account, that they can cater to needs of the victims.
Is that citizen-centric administration? Just based on the inflation, they would have equated it with inflation and they would have increased the cost. Is that citizen-centric administration?
To some extent, they are giving social security to the citizen who has not been provided security before when they were attacked that time. So we cannot repay for the loss they have gone through, but
Fine. So your first preference is DYSP, right?
yes.
Why? Why are you so interested in police services?
So, mostly because my father, both my grandparents, my uncle, all of them are from police department itself, Karnataka Police Department.
What rank are they working in or were working in?
They retired. My father was section superintendent in Vijayanagar office, and both my grandfathers retired as sub-inspectors. So I've seen men in uniform that has inspired me. There's never been a woman in police service in my family. I think I should do.
So what would be your first priority wearing the uniform?
first thing is most of them have this notion that it is police department is very harsh to not citizen centric according to what people perceive. Most important thing is to bring humility to the service. When they come and police are responsive to people, but they feel that even criminals and the people who are going to give complaint hear the same tone. So they should be more welcoming. People should feel at ease to go to police stations and lodge their complaints.
So what will you do to make it more citizen friendly?
So, first thing is to bring out this notion. If the Kannadದಲ್ಲಿ
You can.
heard ನಾವು ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಮೆಟ್ಲು ಹತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಆ ಥರ ದೇ ಬೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಗುಡ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಅವ್ರ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಊಟ ತಿಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ದೇ ವುಡ್ ಬಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅವ್ರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಇವಾಗ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. that stigma should be removed from people first. So
what will you do to remove it?
Sir, we can conduct awareness programs and common men with the police interaction ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು on a daily level. And there is this problem of corruption. Though in every department there would be this problem, but in this department it is more highlighted probably because they are more on the ground level. So adana kadme ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. And it would to some extent the lower level constables plagiarism we are facing. That is ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ರೆಕಗ್ನಿಷನ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ enthusiasm ಇರಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ. So even the smallest things when police constable does, when we appreciate it, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನು enthusiasm ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Okay, ಈಗ you play badminton, is it?
Yes, sir. During my
Okay. What was the recent achievement of badminton in Commonwealth Games?
So both women's singles and men they got in gold.
Okay, have we never done that before?
Preethi Sindhu herself has got silver and bronze in the past two Commonwealth Games, but together achieving gold in both men's and singles, I think it is the first time.
How many medals did we win recently in CWG? Was that the highest?
So I'm not able to recall the number, but 2010 when we hosted, that was the highest.
Why was it highest? Was there any change, or are there any changes between 2010 games and this year's games?
So there has been improvement in some categories like high jump.
See, the total number of medals in 2022 is lesser than 2010, as you said.
Yes.
But still people are telling that this is the best ever achievement that India has made in Commonwealth Games. Why is it?
Number of gold medals.
Number of gold medals, then it was 39, now it is 22. We are 17 down, but still people are telling that this is the best performance. Why?
Maybe because of the new athletics.
It is not maybe. If you know the reason, please tell, or else it's fine. There were few categories of games which were removed. Are you aware of it? Shooting, archery, where we used to do or we used to secure a lot of medals. That is the reason. Okay.
So you are basically from Bangalore. So do you know any basics of a rural background? How a district is there? What is the smallest unit of a district? Because you are aspiring to be a civil servant,
Yes.
right? So what is the basic unit of a district?
So, Gram Panchayat.
Gram Panchayat. After that?
Taluk level and then Zilla Panchayat.
Okay, but seeing your background, you have done your engineering. You were a lecturer in English,
Yes.
and then you have worked in administrative assistant in IASC.
Yes.
Why this transition?
So first thing is I've done my electronics and communication engineering because always my passion was towards civil services itself, but the percentage of people who are competing and the percentage of people who are getting into the services, practically speaking, I needed a backup as well. So in engineering, electronics and communication was more interesting to me because it is an amalgam of both software and hardware. So I chose electronics and communication. Later on, when I started my civil services preparation, after 1 year, I started it in 2019. After 1 year of my preparation, I kind of started to feel depressing because most of the time I would be locked in a room whole day. I lacking in social skills. So interacting with children and students would make me feel better, and I would learn more from it. That is why I gave a demo session and interview at a private college for a part-time lecturer. So then I was selected for that. Later on, with my civil services preparation, I gave some other government exams like FPA and admin assistant, and I got into Indian Institute of Science. And with my experience of administration and Indian Institute of Science, I think it will help me better in future administration as well.
Your marks is pretty good in your engineering. How will you utilize your engineering skills in administration?
Previously, sir asked about electronic circuits. I did not recall that. That time I was telling an answer to your question also. There is a need to bring in technology into administration so that we avoid wastage, we contribute to climate change, and we also make things faster. When we go to an office, a file moves from one table to another table. It shouldn't take more than a day when the issue is not very serious. So, as sir said, to make it more citizen-centric, people should not move from pillar to post to get their work done. So they can suppose we have this Seva Sindhu portal, government portal. So if they want anything, they can check on their phone and they can get it themselves. So these kind of applications and using artificial intelligence to find out, suppose this area the sex ratio is less and this area literacy rate is less. So how we can bring about changes? How many schools are there? Surveys can be accumulated and it can be brought into administration.
Do you know what is e-office?
So,
E-office.
Electronic office. Online office. E-office.
Okay. Do you know how a microwave works?
So microwave, it is one of the it has the second highest wavelength in the spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum.
I'm asking, how do you cook in a microwave? What is the principle of microwave? Kitchen alli microwave iruttallva?
Microwave oven.
Oven.
Okay, sir. Waves, just like how we see in graph, the sinusoidal waves, they travel through the particles and excite the molecules or atoms there, due to which heat is generated and food is
You know what is 5G, 4G, 3G, 2G? That one, right? What is the difference between 5G, 4G and 3G?
Sir, all these are different generations of internet connectivity spectrum.